Hey folks, this is going to be my one take review of the Freewrite, which is this wonderful instrument here. My name is J.D. Ventura, and I am a first time author. My first book, Gated, was partially written on the Freewrite, and I'm happy to report that my second novel, about the things I've done, was entirely written on the Freewrite. So, wanted to tell you why I think the Freewrite is so wonderful. And I mean, I'll tell anybody who wants to know because I'm pretty much an evangelist of the product at this point. When I was writing my first novel, I felt a real pull toward distraction on my laptop. So I'd get emails coming in, or I would hit a sort of block and I would revert to checking the web browser. It was all very much a temptation platform for distraction. At least that's sort of how I began to look at the laptop. And I had been thinking about getting some kind of dumbed down laptop, is how I was thinking of it in my head. Something more bare bones. And the Freewrite was really the solution. And not to say that it's dumbed down, because actually I think the design of it is pretty brilliant, because it's really customized for writers who are looking to do one singular thing, and that is write. So I tried it, and I have been pleased with it on a multitude of levels. Firstly, the keys are mechanical keys, so they're very tactile. So anyone who has, I'm dating myself now, but anyone who grew up in the age of typewriters, or word processors after that, can remember that sort of feeling of responsiveness in the keys, a tactile feeling of productivity. And that's really what you get from this product. Secondly, aside from the distraction-free element, which I mentioned, the other great thing, and some people have actually said this is a bad thing, but for me personally, the idea that you cannot use this device, at least in the generation that I have, to edit. There's no back up arrow key to sort of edit paragraphs above what you've written. It really kind of just demands that you write. It wants input, plain and simple. And so you get into that rhythm with it where it sort of wants to be fed, and that's kind of all you can do. So as a writer, I find that I'm far more productive on it. My second novel, that I just completed the manuscript for, and I'm looking for an agent, by the way, it came out of me so quickly with this device, far more so than Gated. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way that it improves your process, and the way that you start to really approach the book and the work. It just feels more like a very productive appendage. And so I highly recommend Freewrite for anyone who is looking to focus on the writing, plain and simple. I've even pre-ordered their Traveler unit that they're having developed right now, which is a more portable version. But I have to say, I haven't minded this version at all. There were some people who said it was bulky, or that it sort of weighed a bit. I haven't been bothered by it. I throw it in a computer bag, and I go to coffee shops and workspaces. And the only distraction that you'll get with the Freewrite, in my estimation, is the distraction that comes from people being curious about it. Because every time I go to a bar or a coffee shop, people come up to me and they want to know what this device is. I also worried that the keyboard sound, because if it's very clicky, I kind of worried that that would annoy people that were working nearby in shared workspaces, but it really hasn't, and I think it just kind of blends in with the white noise of a coffee shop. So that was sort of an unfounded concern of mine. Um, but when I was asked whether or not I'd share my thoughts on the Freewrite, I was really excited to do so. I really want to see this company succeed because the idea now of going back to a laptop is just so antithetical to my creative process at this point that I think I'd be lost, quite honestly, without the Freewrite. So, yeah, and I would welcome anyone who has any questions about the product if they want to give me a shout. It's jdventura.com. And again, one more shout out for my book. It's gated, available on all book platforms. And I thank Astor House for letting me contribute to a review. Okay, that was my one take. And I am going to say goodbye. So, goodbye.